Okay, folks, we're going to look at this. Assess the view that gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. So, assess the view tells me it is likely to be a debate. Let's go pink, given its gender. Gender, so our pink grid. Excuse me, is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. So it's looking at both criminal behaviour and also low-level acts of deviance. So if we can discuss both of those, that would be great. So it's got the word view, which suggests to me it's a debate. Always aim for 6 paragraphs, and where I possibly can, 3 sociologists in each of those paragraphs. It doesn't always work, but if you can get somewhere near that, 3 sociologists, 6 paragraphs, it's hard for an examiner not to give you top band if all the sociologists are correct. So this side is going to be the view that gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. This side is going to be it's not gender, gender, not major. So because it's got gender in the question, I know I need to go straight to that gender grid and start thinking that through. So gender is a major factor. I think, first of all, actually, it's quite unusual for me, but I normally do the introduction at the end. But I would note here that 80% of crime, or the official crime statistics, suggest that about 80% of crime is male. So it suggests that gender is a major factor. That is what that's suggesting, that crime really is, or gender, is a major factor. Is it suggests that so few women commit crime. Now, that could largely be because women experience more social control. So we're less likely, so we have more social control in terms of ideologically, so the label of a slag. We also experience much more supervision. So more social control. We're also socialised, arguably, into more passive genders, more passive identity. So it does suggest so few women commit crimes. That might be because of more social control and the ways we're socialised. However, others have suggested that really the criminal justice system discriminates, that we have a chivalry factor that means we are reluctant to convict women. And others have suggested that deviance is a normal part of growing up. So I'm outlining where I'm going to head. The reason why we're even having this debate is because 80% of all crime appears to be male, according to the official crime statistics. Now, that might be because of social control and the socialisation of women, but equally, the criminal justice system does appear to have an issue with the chivalry factor, where we just don't want to convict women, particularly if we present them as good mothers. And for some reason, if you're a good mother, you must be a good person. Or if you're not a good mother, then somehow you're a bad person. And then those women are more likely to get harsher punishments. But we're reluctant to convict women. And others have just suggested that deviance is a normal part of growing up, regardless of gender. Although often we have to make the connection that that's regardless of gender. Those sociologists don't really do that for us. There's a bit of a male stream issue there, again, where they struggle to see women and crime and deviance from a female perspective. So gender is a major factor. Let's just check those. Major factor affecting crime. So it is due to the social control of women. So we'll take social control of women from that gender section. Women experience extra supervision. And this often continues throughout their lives. And self-imposed curfews and things. So for Hydenson, women commit so few crimes because of the ways they are ideologically controlled. Commit so few crimes, particularly because of the way that they are ideologically controlled. The additional control and supervision means they are less likely to have access, or less like to have the access to commit any crime. So we've got Hydenson. I'm going to take Lee's from Interactionism because I really like that study and I think it links beautifully with the idea of social control. So for the late Professor Lees, she argues that, sorry if you've got any younger siblings here, but that slag is a powerful mechanism of social control on all women. Slag is a very powerful mechanism of social control on all women. It controls how we dress, how we talk, so how we might talk about, I suppose, sexual incidences, so how we dress, how we talk, but also behaviour. Do we laugh too loud? So slag is a powerful mechanism of social control on all women. And for Carlin, class and gender deals act like bonds of attachment. Class and gender deals act like bonds of attachment. They control women through the risk of being labelled unfeminine or being denied material goals or material rewards. Basically the idea that if you do behave like a good woman, and I use that term very, very loosely, then you will, if you behave like a good woman, then you will get material rewards from husbands. Bonds of attachment serve to control women through being either labelled unfeminine or being denied material rewards. That's the class deal. So the class deal would be, so I would probably be the class deal. So what keeps me non-criminal is that I continue to not engage in crime, I'll keep my job, and therefore I'll keep my material rewards. Or some women will have the gender deal, which is basically that if they are good mothers, then again they will get those kind of material rewards from husbands, so that both of them keep women in place, either one or the other, or sometimes both maybe. So those three, then this shows that gender is a major factor. Gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. Gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. Women commit fewer crimes because additional social control physically prevents them. Because women commit so few crimes because the social control physically prevents them from being able to commit crime. Whilst men will have the freedom and access to do so. They're out. They're physically out after 9 o'clock. Whereas women are subject to more social control. So are not. Okay. However, Campbell notes that women do commit equal amounts of crime as men. But the criminal justice system discriminates in favour of women. This disguises the crime statistics, and therefore theories that use them, like I suppose the ones above, are inaccurate. So for Campbell, women do commit as much crime as men, but the criminal justice system discriminates in women's favour. We're very reluctant to convict women, and therefore any theory, so I'm trying to explain it a little bit more to get your AO3 up, any theory that uses these statistics to form an idea is inaccurate. It can't be trusted because they're based on wrong statistics. So yes, gender is a major impacting, and then we're going to go against and say gender's not a major factor. So I'm going to go against. This is a bit of a struggle here. So I'm going to continue with my chivalry factor. So gender is not a major factor. There's a chivalry factor within the criminal justice system. So I'm going to do Anne Campbell again, but I'm going to use her self-report study. Anne Campbell found in her self-report study that it's not 5-1, as the official crime statistics suggests, but it is 1.2 to 1, highlighting that men and women commit similar amounts of crime. So although I've used her twice, I've tried to kind of separate her out as much as I can. So it was Pollock and Mayhem who originated the idea of the chivalry factor. So who, created the idea of the chivalry factor. Again, suggesting that the criminal justice system discriminates. And Heidenson also notes that courts are reluctant to convict women. Quite a short paragraph, that one, even with the 3 sociologists. So this shows, check the question, gender is not a major factor affecting crime and deviance. Gender is not a major factor affecting crime and deviance. The criminal justice system disguises the amount of female crime due to higher cautions. So gender is not a major factor. The criminal justice system disguises the amount of female crime, giving higher rates of cautions for women and fines. They give much higher rates. Women are twice as likely to be cautioned. remember the most common rate of crime that women tend to do is not paying the TV license, which is a criminal offence. However, when Farrington and Moore compared sentencing in 2 seconds. So sentencing in Crown Court found that once the seriousness of offences was considered, men and women, once compared sentencing in Crown Courts, they found that men and women it receives the same or very similar sentences. So compared sentencing in Crown Courts and found once the seriousness of offences was considered, men and women got similar or the same. Is actually that men commit more serious acts of crime and women tend to commit deviant acts, e.g. not paying a TV licence. So the issue is actually for Farrington and Moore, once you actually compare the sentences in particular, the seriousness, men and women experience the very same or similar sentences. The issue is that men commit more serious acts of crime, whereas men commit more serious acts of crime, whereas women commit more acts of deviance. For example, not paying their TV licence is the most common reason. So there isn't an issue. It's women don't commit as much crime. They commit more deviant acts, which really, should we go into prison for not paying TV licence? Don't know. That would be argued for a debate. So we're going to go back again for the question. So for the question is suggesting gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance because of the way that women are socialised. So women are socialised into more passive ideals. So we're going to do Farrington and Painter. They found that offending females were more likely to have lacked parental praise and endured harsh or erratic parenting. So we've got Farrington and Painter. Offending females were more likely to have lacked parental praise or endured harsh or erratic parenting. For Stephen Moore, when women do commit crime, they express their socialised roles of family or sex providers, so prostitution or shoplifting. When women do commit crime, it generally expresses their socialised roles of family or sex providers. Okay. The third one here, again on the theme of socialisation, I'm going to do Messerschmitt. That we socialise men into a normative masculinity. That to be a successful man, you have to be able to dominate women. Now, middle class men can dominate legitimately, so legally. Middle class men can dominate women legitimately. So asking them to complete reports, or etc. However, what he argues is, when working class men are blocked from normative masculinity, so they're unable to dominate women legitimately, they may commit acts of sexual harassment or, sorry folks, engage in violence, particularly domestic violence. He's arguing we were socialised to these normative domination of women, and if you can't achieve that, so basically you've got blocked opportunities from dominating women, then you're more likely to innovate and commit crime in order to achieve them. So yeah, the theme of that is socialisation. So this shows that crime, that gender is a major factor. That gender is a major factor affecting crime and deviance. Socialization, again, prevents most women, because I spent a lot of that paragraph saying that crime happens when women haven't been socialized in the same way. So socializing prevents most women from committing crime, but it also explains why some men may commit acts of crime against women, as they've been blocked from legitimate masculinity. So it also explains, I say most women don't commit crime because they've been socialized to prevent them, but also explains why men may commit crime against women if they've experienced blocked opportunities from legitimate masculinity or being able to dominate. However, for Donovan, so I'm going to take the criticism of Messerschmitt. Donovan et al. Domestic violence is an issue in same-sex relationships with no men. Therefore, the suggestion that it is linked to socialization is inaccurate. And it's problematic to suggest it is only working class men who sexually harass and commit violence against women. I don't think that's entirely true. And if you're suggesting it is, I'd quite like to see the stats. But anyway, however, for Donovan et al., domestic violence takes place in same sex, and this is just really my own evaluation, but I would urge you to consider that it's really problematic for him to suggest that it's only working class men who sexually harass women and who commit violent acts against women. Something like Wolf on Wall Street, or look at Billington Club, wholly inaccurate. Donovan et al. Is our criticism. And I would also note there with Hood that also the criminal justice system is is less likely to prosecute good mothers. Again, suggesting it's not really socialization. It's the negotiation and interpretation of those individuals. Okay. Although I suppose, just as a fair point, I'm not sure you would want to send a woman to prison for not paying a TV license if she has got 2 children and she's a single mother. That would seem a concern. So Against, we're going to say, so gender is not a major factor. Here I'm going to argue everyone commits crime, or everyone commits deviant acts. Here, when I think of everyone engaging in deviance, I think of interactionism. So Matza notes that deviance is a normal part of growing up. We all drift in and out of deviance. Look at the 1970s deviance, 60s deviance. Deviance is a normal part of growing up. So, for Cicero, he notes that police hold stereotypical views of who is criminal. And it means that these groups are unable to negotiate, suggesting that women are more likely to negotiate out of deviant labels being applied. For Box, he found that a jury convicted a woman of shoplifting, but that they collectively fiddled their expenses for a larger amount, suggesting we all commit crime and deviance, but that negotiation is key. They steal more money from the state than she steals from the shop, because ultimately that's who you're stealing from. You're stealing from, us. It's our money. So Cicero, Box, and Matza. It's a bit of a makeshift one, that one. So this shows gender is not a major factor. Affecting. Let's check the question. It's not a major factor. Yeah, affecting crime and deviance. We all engage in deviance, but stereotypes mean that middle class white women can negotiate and skew the crime statistics as a result. Okay. So this essay, I think, is shorter. I don't think you can get 6 paragraphs. If you're looking at your gender grid, you'll see that social control has gone with 3 sociologists. Socialization has gone, and I've added Messerschmitt to make it a big chunky paragraph. Against, we've got chivalry factor, which again is another section of your grid, but that's only got, it's got 3 names. And then against, I've kind of made this makeshift interactionism paragraph. You could, I suppose, do a bit of marginalization, but that's just got, Adler in there as one name. But I feel like anything else against, like things like functionalism and blocked opportunities, you could, but I feel like you're moving further away from the question because, women also experience blocked opportunities if they're working class as well. So I think you end up with 4 rather than 6. You're welcome to, because you will soon surpass me and improve on anything I could do. If you do feel you can make 2 more, please feel free to try and let me know, because I'd be really interested. I'm not sure you can. I think it gets quite tricky. But as I say, please feel free to have a little look. To conclude, I'm going to say so. To conclude, gender. Where am I concluding it? What do I think? To conclude, gender may have an impact, may have an effect. So it may have an effect on attainment because women experience more control, supervision, and therefore have less freedom than men. Labeling can prevent women from engaging in acts that could lead to deviance, or the same amount of freedom as men. Gender might have an impact upon attainment. Women experience more control, they experience more supervision, and they've got much less freedom than men. Labeling can prevent women from engaging in acts that could lead to deviance, or the same amount of freedom as men receive. However, it does appear that women do commit deviance, and that unlike in other sectors, it could be an advantage to be a woman. Committing deviance, as we appear to be able to negotiate, unlike working class men or groups of colour. So I appreciate I'm on the fence there a little bit, but I suppose my kind of sociological view is that we might actually commit fewer crimes, maybe fewer crimes, because a lot of the ways we're controlled, we don't have the freedom to commit as much crime, and labeling can prevent us from doing the same things as men through the fear of being labeled as unfeminine. But it does appear that when we commit deviance, unlike in other sectors, it's a great advantage to be, I suppose, a white woman, to be fair, because being a white woman, you're much more likely to be able to negotiate, unlike working class men or groups of colour. So I think I'm saying for crime, maybe less so, but for deviance, again, if you've got maybe white privilege, middle class privilege, then you're much more likely to be able to negotiate out of those labels. So hopefully that helps structure this question. I think it's a real tricky one. Also, gender, just as a note, gender seems to be a very, very popular exam question. If you look in your gender pack, you'll see it's come up, I think, like 7 times. So just be really aware of that for me. It's come up as a usefulness half of that time, and then a debate like this the other half. Okay, folks. As always, if you need anything else, do let me know, and I'll obviously get back to you. Thank you.